Hey, welcome back to the KingCast. As always, presented by the Economics Division of the Social Sciences Department. I'm your host, Frank Roche. With me, as always, Jack Zipper. Jack, always great to see you. Thank you for joining us again. Hot topics today. Jack finds out Jeff Bezos is about to realize some serious gains, and I check out the jobs in January. As always, we check on what's happening with King Winter Sports, how the teams are performing. We have a lunch poll this week. Thank you for participating. Our preview of lunches for this week. Oh, we got some lunches this week, Jack. Wait till you see. And as always, a check on economic data and financial market price action. Our sidekick, Griffin couldn't join us today. He had some sort of sudden change in plans. So, Griff, we'll see you next week. So we won't have King things from the community this week. I didn't have enough time to prepare it myself. So my apologies for all those who enjoyed that segment. Nonetheless, Jack, let's get into this. I'm finding out Jeff Bezos about to realize some gains, huh? Cashing out a little bit. What's Jeff up to? He's going to pocket some cash?
Yes, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos plans to sell up to 50 million shares of Amazon stock, according to an SEC filing posted on Monday. His selling plan, though subject to certain conditions, will take place over the course of this year and is expected to end around January 25th of 2025. Those shares would be nearly worth $8.6 billion at the stock's current stock price. However, when the sale was announced on Friday, Amazon shares jumped by around 8%. His recent move to Miami may be a part of this because he can avoid the state capital gains taxes on the stock sale. 7 other Amazon high-up insiders also took up trading plans in November for offloading Amazon stock, the SEC filing showed, but Bezos's was the most aggressive in terms of selling strategy.
Started off selling books, Jack. Started off selling books. Just incredible. Anyway, congratulations to Jeff. I mean, crazy wealth. Comment on that. I'm surprised the shares rallied on the back of this news. They're going to enrich Jeff even further, obviously. He'll be able to cash out at higher prices. And of course, they want to do this carefully so as not to push the stock lower while he cashes out. It's a lot of shares, 50 million shares. Jack, will Bezos' role in the company change in the future, you think?
Not likely. Bezos will still be Amazon's executive chair, as he has been since he stepped down as CEO in July of 2021. And of course, he will maintain a large amount of influence in Amazon's decision-making, as he will still have over 938 million shares of Amazon stock.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, crazy wealth, just crazy, yes. Crazy wealth creation, all driven by speculation in the stock market. And of course, Amazon is dominant in the retail trade. Jack, you an Amazon user?
Of course.
Yes, me too. I tried for years to avoid it, but the convenience is hard to overlook. I've often thought to do a study on the environmental impacts of all this delivery stuff we have going on, but we'll leave that for another time. All right, Jack, great story as always. Let me check in on the jobs report, Jack, we had last Friday, the first Friday of every month. It's not the first Friday. We have the employment situation report, the most important data point for the month in the world, really. The BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, released the January employment situation report on Friday, and this is what they found. Total non-farm employment rose by 353,000 jobs in January, way above expectations, and the unemployment rate remained steady at 3.7%. That's the U3 rate. The U6 rate, our broader measure, went to 7.2%. Among the major worker groups, the unemployment rates for adult men, 3.6%, adult women, 3.2%, teenagers, 10.6%, whites, 3.4%, blacks, 5.3%, Asians, 2.9%, and Hispanics, 5%. And they all showed little change in January from December. The labor force participation rate at 62.5% was unchanged in January, and the employment population ratio at 60.2% was little changed as well. These measures show little change or no change over the year, as has been the case probably for the past 10 or 15 years. In January, average hourly earnings for all employees on private non-farm payrolls rose 19 cents or 0.6% to $34.55. Not bad. Over the past 12 months, average hourly earnings have increased by 4.5%. Ooh, a little inflationary there. That's going to spook the Fed a little bit. In January, average hourly earnings of private sector production in non-supervisory employees rose by 13 cents to $29.66. Job gains occurred in retail trade, 45,000, healthcare and social assistance, 100,000, government employment, 36,000. Add those up, it gets to 182,000, or 51% of the total job gain for the month. Now, on the surface, the report was a good report for January. But when we dig into that a little bit, it's a less robust picture. The quality of the jobs being created isn't as high. As I indicated, the jobs were created in areas like retail trade and healthcare and social assistance, not high-paying areas and not very stable areas for employment. Part-time work accounts for most of the gains. Full-time jobs fell from 133.2 million in February of 2023 to 133.1 million in January of 2024, a drop off of 100,000 full-time jobs on the year. And that pattern was identified from December to January as well. Part-time jobs rose from 27 million a year ago to 27.9 million in January 24, an increase of 900,000. And also, native-born workers continue to lose out to foreign-born workers as identified by population, employment population ratios, and unemployment rates. So not such a great data point. The headline kind of spooked markets initially, but when we dig into the data, we found that the report wasn't as robust as it seemed. Great news for anyone that gets a job, of course, but again, looking at it a couple of times, not as strong as it seems.
Mr. Roche, what impact will this data have on the Fed's interest rate decision at their next meeting in March?
Well, by that meeting, Jack, they will have another jobs report for February to consider, and that will be helpful. However, I think the Fed will find what I found when digging into the data a little bit. Job growth and the health of the labor force isn't as good as the headline data suggests. Moreover, the data on average hourly earnings year over year implies inflationary pressures remain and that we won't be approaching the Fed's 2% target anytime soon when it comes to inflation. So mixed news for the Fed, Jack. Weakness in the types of jobs and associated wages could give the Fed license to ease interest rates sooner rather than later, but the inflationary wage pressures could keep them on hold for longer. Nothing here suggests they will hike rates in March, though. We'll just have to wait for more data, Jack. All right, Jack, let's move on to other things. Again, we don't have king things for the King community today because we're missing our guy, Griff. But Jack, we had some sports. King Sports is very exciting this winter season. What happened?
Well, King Sports continue to roll this winter. King girls basketball had their senior night on Friday, where lone senior Lena Wyatt exploded for 28 points and several assists. The Vikings rode that momentum to a big 55-33 win over the Christian Heritage Kingsmen. Boys basketball also continued their momentum this week with 2 wins, a 40-point blowout over Rye Country Day School and a 1-point win over Brunswick. King was down 1 point to Brunswick with just under 6 seconds to go in the game when Nas Pettigrew took the ball at the top of the key, drove inside, and finished with a tough left-handed layup at the buzzer to win the game 64-63. What a finish. Pettigrew did get the game winner, but other Vikings contributed to the win as well, with AJ Tramboli leading the way with 19, Tristan Gregor with getting 13, and Davion Pinn chipping in 14, as well as setting up Nas for the finish. They took revenge on Brunswick after Brunswick got the better of the King hockey team, who just edged out our Vikings 4-3. Varsity basketball is getting hot at the right time, as with the playoffs approaching fast, they have won 5 out of their last 6, including being 4-0 against FAA opponents in that span.
I smell championships.
Let's
I
hope.
heard the hockey game against Viking was OT. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so tight one there. And also a little shout out to Lena. Lena had her senior day on Friday before that game. She's leaving King basketball, and she's been a wonderful contribution to King Sports. So congratulations there that she did so well in the game. All right, Jack, some other things to look at. We have our lunch reviews. As always, shout out to the Flick crew that take care of us every day. They're amazing job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Some reminders: get your dishes back in your flatware back to the kitchen by 1 p.m. They want to wash those dishes before they go home. And to all students, no food allowed outside the cafeteria. Try to remember that, please. We had a lunch poll for last week, and thank you for participating in the poll. I sent the poll out a little late, so the sample size is not as normal as we've had it in the past, though still statistically significant. So we have plenty of information here. The first question was rate Tuesday's Southern Fried Chicken, and it was a big hit. I love the fried chicken. Jack, what'd you think?
I loved it as well.
Did you have it, Jack? Can you recall having that?
Never. I don't remember ever having that.
Yeah, I think it was no. I don't remember eating. I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. So and it was a big hit. Awesome. Bring it back was the answer. With over 57.7% rating, lunch 5 Viking helmets on Wednesday for the Southern Fried Chicken, and 23% rating the lunch with 4 Viking helmets. So big success there with the Southern Fried Chicken. What's next, Jack?
Well, the second question was asking if you thought the Wednesday Action Station specials was a good idea. It was a big hit as well, an awesome idea. 60% rated it 5 Viking helmets and 17% rated it with 4 Viking helmets.
Now, the only thing that put me off on that, Jack, was the lines. It was very popular. The lines were very large. I'm sure they expected it, but that's the only challenge I had. So I went a little later in lunch, and I enjoyed the barbecue chicken, which was fantastic. Did you happen to try any of the sliders?
Yeah, I had the barbecue chicken, and I thought that was my favorite. I also had the grilled cheese with bacon, which I didn't think it was as good.
Doubling up, huh?
Yeah,
Those seconds on Wednesday for you.
yes, sir.
Nice. Meanwhile, the way they decorated that action station was so nice. It was very rustic. They had beautiful loaves of bread all over the place.
Yes.
Eduardo and his team did really nicely. I think they got some pictures of it. It looked really, really nice. Very cozy. Okay, so our third question asked if you ate the special sliders on Wednesday, and 70% said yes. So big success for the sliders. I'm sure Junior will be happy about that. Jack, what was our last question?
And the last question was asked to rank which slider was best from Wednesday's special. The chicken parm took first place with 47.9%. The BBQ chicken took second place with 37.5%. The grilled cheese with bacon came in third with a lowly 14.6%.
For grilled cheese, normally that's a very big hit for students. It just had a lot of competition. Two obviously better sandwiches. So grilled cheese people, don't feel badly. We just had some unusual competition there. All right, Jack, let's do our preview for this week's lunches. What do we got?
So on Monday, we have yellow chicken curry with basmati rice, cauliflower with yogurt and curry, and the soup is a Cuban black bean.
On Tuesday, Philly cheesesteak day with salt and pepper chips, chipotle black bean burger patty, and the soup is a French onion.
On Wednesday, we have baked beef ziti, beefaroni, and the soup is a vegetable minestrone.
On Thursday, an exciting one, chicken paella with vegetable paella, and the soup is a cream of broccoli. How about Friday, Jack?
Yeah, on Friday, we have roasted chicken wings, a spicy vegetable bean chili nachos with cheese sauce, and the soup is a turkey bean chili with a special on the Action Station, baked macaroni and cheese.
Okay, Jack, this is a tough week for me. There's a bunch of good lunches here. I'm going to rank them this way. I'm going to go paella, chicken paella on Thursday. This is hard, Jack. I could put any one of these three at the top. I'll go chicken paella on Thursday. I'll go yellow chicken curry on Monday, roasted chicken wings, and then the cheese things. I'll go Philly cheese fourth and baked ziti fifth. What do you got?
So I'm going to also do the chicken paella first on Thursday. I'm going to do the Philly cheesesteak second. I'm a big Philly cheesesteak guy. The roasted chicken wings third. The baked beef ziti fourth. And I've never really liked the taste of curry. So that is going fifth. Okay,
that's fair. Curry's not for everybody. I don't know if you noticed, Jack, there was a curry smell in the school on Friday morning as the chefs had to prepare for Monday. And
right.
Boy, it was just wonderful. I love curry smells and spices. And I happened to go out to Indian food for Friday night dinner. So it was a wonderful day for me. And now I get to try it again on Monday. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's great.
All right. Excellent rundown on the lunches, Jack. Let's check on the more important things for you and I as young economists. That is economic data. How's the U.S. economy performing and how markets responded to the price action with a snapshot. All right, Jack, I'll start us off on Friday of last week. January employment situation report, what I talked about briefly. Non-farm payrolls up 353,000 versus up 333,000 in December. Good number on the surface. U3 unemployment rate, the narrow measure, 3.7%, unchanged since December. The U6 unemployment rate, 7.2%, a little higher from December, which was 7.1%. Average hourly earnings up 0.6% versus up 0.4% in December. And again, year over year, 4.5%, so quite elevated. Good news if you're earning money, of course. Average weekly hours, 34.1, ticked down a little bit from 34.3 in December. Also on Friday, we had December factory orders up 0.2% versus up 2.6% in November. And January, Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index, 79 versus 69.7 in December. Michigan consumer sentiment, big bump to the upside. People feeling better about the economy around them. So pretty good news there. Not a bad day of data. On Thursday, Jack, as always, initial unemployment claims for the week ending January 27th. 224,000 Americans filed for initial unemployment claims versus 214 in the prior week. This is our highest number in some weeks, beginning to see the impacts of some layoffs. Q4 advanced non-farm productivity was up 3.2% versus up 4.9% in Q3. Q4 advanced unit labor costs up 0.5% versus down 1.1% in Q3. Again, inflationary indicators there. December construction spending up 0.9% versus up 0.9% in November. And lastly, the January ISM manufacturing index, 49.1 versus 47.1 December, and the reading below 50 is contractionary. Jack, what do you have for the rest of the week?
So on Wednesday, we had MBA mortgage applications for the week ending January 7th, down 7.2% versus up 3.7% in the prior week. We had the January ADP non-farm employment change up 107,000 versus up 158,000 in December. January Chicago Purchasing Managers Index 46 versus 47.2 in December. Below 50 is contractionary. Federal Reserve interest rate decision and statement. The Fed left rates unchanged as expected at range of 5.25% to 5.5%. And on Tuesday, we had January consumer confidence 114.8 versus 108 in December, so higher there. And on Monday, we had no data.
Another good confidence indicator, Jack, higher than expected. People are feeling better about the world around them, no question. Fed interest rate decision on Wednesday. That was going to be Griffin's story today. He had a nice presentation ready to go. Fed was a little hawkish in their statement, kept rates unchanged as expected, but spooked markets because they talk about the work on inflation is not done. If you want to check that out, go to federalreserve.gov. News and events, press releases. You can find a statement there for yourself. Having trouble sleeping, it's a great thing to read to help you sleep. All right, checking on U.S. economic data for the week ending February 5th. Monday, we have January ISM non-manufacturing index. We have a Fed speaker, Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic speaking. Tuesday, no data, but we have another Fed speaker, Cleveland Fed President Loretta Mester. Jack, how about the rest of the week?
So on Wednesday, we will have the MBA mortgage applications for the week ending February 3rd. We'll have December international trade, balanced goods and services. Two Fed speakers on Wednesday, Richmond Fed President Tom Barkin and the Board of Governors member Michelle Bowman. On Thursday, we have initial unemployment claims for the week ending February 3rd and another Fed speaker, Richmond Fed President Tom Barkin. And on Friday, we have no data.
We rarely talk about this, Jack, but after the week after a Fed meeting, the Fed officials come out and talk about things. So we'll get some more granularity on what they're thinking at the FOMC decision in their statement to see if they can bring some dovish or hawkish comments to the markets and see how markets react accordingly. All right, Jack, as always, we check on financial markets, how markets reacted to data. Now, we're just taking a snapshot, but these highs and lows and ranges kind of indicate how markets reacted to data. Remember, it's actual data compared to expectations that drives markets. I'll start us off with stocks, Jack. The S&P 500 opened last week at 4,925. The high for the week was on Friday at 4,971. The low for the week was on Wednesday at 4,845. And the market closed on Friday at 4,958. Up 33 points for the week, or 0.7%. Record highs again on the week with a range of 126 points.
The benchmark 10-year U.S. Treasury bond yield opened the week at 4.05%, had a high on Monday of 4.10%, a low on Thursday of 3.82%, and closed the week at 4.02%, down 3 basis points for the week. The range for the week was 28 basis points.
Now, that's two big ranges for stocks and for bonds, and it was all driven up really by the Wednesday information about the Fed statement at 2 p.m. In the foreign exchange market, we have the U.S. dollar index opened the week at 103.45, had a high on Friday of 104.03, a low on Tuesday of 102.95, and a close of 103.96, up 51 pips to the week. The range for the week was 109 pips, so quite a bit of volatility there. Jack, finish us off with commodities.
The Dow Jones Commodities Index opened the week at 959.90, had a high on Monday of 966.61. The low on Friday was 940.50 and a close of 941.12, down 19 points for the week, or 1.9%. The range for the week was 26 points.
All right, so again, higher stocks driven by just a handful of stocks, given the 500 stocks we track in the index. You can't keep a good market down, and algorithms just keep boosting this thing higher. We had lower interest rates, the U.S. dollar was stronger, and lower commodity prices for the week. Jack, let's finish this off. I'll tell you what, you take the first 4, I'll take the last 3. Tell us about our friendly reminders.
All right, do your reading, do your homework, come to class prepared, and use your blinker when making turns or switching lanes.
Stop signs mean stop, no texting while driving, always try to buy American. All right, Jack, that's it for us. Join us again next week. Tell your friends and family. Listen to the KingCast at kingschoolct.org. Academics, upper school, clubs, and activities. Jack, we're out.